Arizona competing against that horse money, that bourbon money down there in the bluegrass. I don't even know what we call our money. What do we call our money here? Desert money? I have no idea what we even call our money. If we have a lot of it, I don't even know what we call our money.
Tucson was founded on?
Is it the silver money?
Copper, cotton, and healthcare.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Copper, cotton. So copper, can we call our money our copper money?
Well, they closed all the mines down, so I think that ship sailed already.
Is that what we're going to say here? Our copper money?
I think Tombstone was silver, if I remember correctly.
There's also the sticky situation with New Mexico claiming copper as their thing, too.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what we call our money, but hopefully we have enough of it to get Milan Momcilovic here to Southern Arizona. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I just want to, we talked a little bit about the other day just kind of how he might fit on this team, but I just want to give you some historical perspective on this in terms of how, what he could add to this University of Arizona roster. So this is a young man who, again, shoots three-point shots at a very, very high rate. 49%, just a little bit under. I like to round up on these things. 48.7% last season if you're counting. I like to say 49% is what he shot last year from three. Shot a few more threes than he had the first 2 years at Iowa State, made more threes. He was also a better two-point shooter last year. So he had never shot. He shot right at 40% as a sophomore, 36% as a freshman, 40% as a sophomore, went up to 49% from three as a junior. Also got better from two, shot 49 his first year, 48 his second year, 55% last year from two. So just an overall better shooter last season than he had been his first 2 years in TJ Olsberger's system. 61 made threes as a freshman, 63 as a sophomore, so about the same, took around the same number of shots those first 2 years. Last year, though, just off the charts. Went from averaging 165 threes in his first two seasons to shooting 279 from three, 279 attempts last year, making 136 of those three-point shots. Now let's put these numbers into perspective here. All right, the most recent best three-point shooter that we've had here at the University of Arizona was Caleb Love the last couple of years in terms of volume and in terms of three-point shots made the last couple of years for the University of Arizona. Caleb Love, kind of the standard when you're talking about three-point shots for Arizona, kind of the standard in terms of a single season. We're talking a single season here, so not necessarily a career, but a single season. 288 taking his last season here. That was the year before, 24-25. 277 the year prior to that. So he's number one and number two all time in three-point shots taken here at the University of Arizona is Caleb Love. Now, in terms of three-point field goals made in a career, it's still Salim Stoudemire. I'm sorry, in a season. It's still Salim Stoudemire, who made 120. That's what now, 21 years ago? Steve Kerr, 2 at 114. Damon Stoudemire, 3 at 112. So the best three-point shooter in terms of makes in a season here at the University of Arizona, 120 three-point shots. Milan Momcilovic last year made 136. So that's 16 more shots made from three than the best guy ever in terms of that number here at the University of Arizona. So this is just some historical perspective in terms of his numbers, what you could be potentially looking at if you add him to your roster. In terms of percentage, that 48.7, that would put him right around third best all time on the Wildcats all-time list. Steve Kerr's still number one, 57.3. Salim Stoudemire essentially number two at 50.4. You got Derek Williams and Brendan Lavender in there, but they weren't volume three-point shooters like Steve Kerr and Salim Stoudemire. So adding Milan Momcilovic to this roster would automatically give you potentially the best three-point shooter in school history. That's what you're looking at here. If the Wildcats can win this race, if the copper money and what else did you say, J-Dub? The hospital money.
Well, it was breathing, really, like respiratory issues for the dry air. So people came out from the East Coast.
If the respiratory money and the copper money,
cotton, copper, and healthcare
can outdo the horse money and the bourbon money of Kentucky.
Tuberculosis treatment money.
The tuberculosis treatment.
Now,
then you've got a shot.
Now, DK, we're talking about numbers and we're talking about historical and everything like that. I'll give you another number here that I'm looking at primarily. Okay. That's more of an interest for me, and I'll do the same for you. I'll round this number down here, and that's 3. And that is how many rebounds Milan Momcilovic averaged last season playing for Iowa State. Now, he's a 6'8" forward. He's not necessarily what you would describe as a true interior scorer or an interior player on anybody's team, but that's something that's going to be a major focus for the roster building for this upcoming season, because you're losing 9 rebounds a game in Tobia Walker. You're losing about 4, just under 5 rebounds a game in Koa Pete. You really, in essence, now solely have your only center, your only 7-footer in Moteus in there by himself now, because there is no secondary bodyguard down low in the post.
You don't think Bryce James is going to go in there and get 12 rebounds a game?
I don't know if Bryce is going to be able to get those boards. I think that he's definitely going to be a Braden Burries kind of rebounding guard, don't get me wrong, but I don't know where that extra rebounding is coming from. And Momcilovic, based on his history, is not that guy.
Since we're doing numbers, I got a number for you. How about 2? Is the number of three-pointers that the Michigan Wolverines won or hit in the national championship game. 2 made three-pointers by the national champions. No, I mean, everything you said is obviously, like, Milan Momcilovic is just a different kind of guy because, number one, he's 6'8", legitimately 6'8". So his shot is really difficult to get up and pester as a defender. He's really good at finding open space. He's obviously comes from that. He's been watching a lot of film on Steph Curry because he finds a way to find those open spaces when defenses rotate. And there's no doubt, we talked about it yesterday, DK, a guy like that changes the entire way that a defense has to game plan against you. Because obviously, Tommy Lloyd's always going to go inside out. He's always going to try to establish post players, rim runners, try to establish that early touches in the paint. And have their guards. I mean, if you've seen Caleb Holt play, that guy's about as aggressive going to the basket as you can get. So the idea being drive and kick, feed the post, you get a double, kick out. If you have the potential greatest shooter in Arizona basketball history, DK, out on either wing, the defense has to account for that, which guess what? Spaces the court for drivers to do even more damage. So, I mean, I think Arizona would probably at this stage with the roster they have now be a top 15 nationally ranked team preseason. With Milan Momcilovic, they would be a top 3 team nationally preseason. I mean, that's the difference that it would make.
So, and when you talk about that, then, and we've kind of gone over what he would mean for us, let's look at it now from his perspective as he's trying to make this decision. When he looks at Arizona, what do you think he sees here that would make him want to come here?
Well, think about everything I just said. What happened last year was inconsistent three-point shooting from those guys you counted upon to do that. So the system here is designed to create three-point shots for open shooters, just like they did in Spokane. I mean, the Zags always had a post player, always had drivers, and always had legitimate three-point shooters on the wings to keep defenses honest. Delhi's a great shooter. He had stretches last year where he didn't shoot great. If you have a guy, Milan's looking at the U of A's system and the way they run things and watching tape from last year, DK, and thinking, okay, well, if I got that shot, I got 5 feet of airspace. I mean, Joshua Jefferson, wasn't it? He was the All-American guy that was a post player for the Cyclones last year, set up a lot of Milan Momcilovic's open looks. It would be very similar, but he's a mid-post guy. Krivas being a low-post guy, that's so much more space. That's a lot more space for the drivers to get in that in-between. So he's looking right now and thinking, you know, it's either that or Kentucky and Mark Pope's offense, which I'm not even sure what they're doing over there these days because I don't know if they know what they're doing. It's a very set in stone system that Coach Lloyd runs, and it's set up to get open shots for good shooters.
Not to mention set in stone in the sense of he would know the layout of the conference if he were to go to the U of A. The biggest thing about that is that if you go to Louisville, now you have to learn about ACC travel. Now you have to learn about ACC schools and how the courts feel there. And then if you go to Kentucky, you're learning SEC schools and how do the courts feel in the SEC. And we talk, I know people are thinking like, oh, what does it matter what the court feels like? We had the entire Big 12 conference tournament to discuss about how the court felt and the argument about that. So, yeah, no, if he knows the courts, he knows the teams he's going to be playing against better in the Big 12, and he doesn't want to have that learning process for the courts and the bounce and everything else like that in the SEC or the ACC. That's the other part of this too. How good does he feel playing still in the familiar gyms that he's already been there now for 3 years out in Iowa State?
So Kentucky's known for the hot brown, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it's really that question, DK, is does he like a good enchilada or is he looking more for like, you know, what's going on out there in Lexington?
Mm-hmm. All right. So what you're saying is he a bourbon guy?
I don't think he's going to the copper mines or, you know, doing healthcare stuff. So, yeah. No. I mean, I think food weather and food, I think, is a part of it.
Well, let me give you the historical perspective on what you said, J-Dub, in terms of this being a fit for a guy, obviously, that shoots three-pointers. Right now, if you look at the top 10 all-time in school history of single-season three-point field goal attempts in a single season, it's three guys, but 5 seasons, 5 of those 10 seasons are seasons under Tommy Lloyd. Caleb Love, number 1 at 288. Caleb Love, number 2 at 277. Kerr Kriisa, number 6 at 238. Kerr Kriisa, number 9 at 227. And Benedict Mathurin, number 10 at 225.
Yeah, I mean, Lute was a slasher guy. Like, Lute liked a lot of... Richard Jefferson could not... No disrespect to RJ if you're listening to our show, but Richard Jefferson was not a great shooter when he was in college. He developed that over time and got better and better through the years. But Lute really liked the slashing game. And come on, like the 90s and early 2000s, the volume of threes on both the professional and college level was much, much lower. So not surprised to see that. And again... inside out. Coach Lloyd, that's what I just said. Coach Lloyd's system, DK, is designed to get good looks for good shooters.
And just to kind of on your point, David, I just don't, at this point in the game, at this point on May 29th, and there's plenty of time. I mean, who knows what could happen over the summer. It does not appear that there's anyone in the pipeline that's going to replace all those rebounds that we're talking about in terms of what Toby Awaka and Koa Pete added to this team from that 4 position. I don't know. Maybe they'll go out and get somebody. Maybe, but that of that caliber that we saw from those 2 guys, I don't know if you're going to have that guy.
No,
season.
You're not going to replace 9 rebounds a game and Toby Awaka from somebody that at this point would still be available in the transfer portal. But you're looking at maybe 5.5, maybe 6 would be nice in regards to averages that you got from last season. But again, at this point, it's going to be something that, okay, how are we going to adjust the roster and the spacing to allow ourselves to get those rebounds that we really kind of took for granted when Tobe was on the court, because you just knew he was going to pick one of them up when it was a fight on the boards.